Hey, Flo here. So I tried to start this second reading here, and I was having all sorts of connection issues. The cell signal here is just barely anything at all. So I can't even change the slides, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to just do a regular camera recording and upload this later. It's kind of annoying, but sometimes that's the way it goes. Thinking of standing up here. There's this giant stump, a former tree. It's still really pretty solid. It hasn't rotten all the way through yet, so I think it's strong enough to support me. I was standing up there a minute ago, and for a minute it seemed like I was going to have to stand in order to get good enough signal to change slides, and then I just realized it's not going to work, so I'm going to add the slides in post, and I think I'll just try to sit up here so a little bit more comfortable. If you saw the scenario, you can't really see what's under me or how big this stump is. I'm on a very, very steep slope, and this tree is growing, or was growing out of the slope, and it's kind of crazy actually. I wish I could get that camera further back. That might be more interesting. Maybe I should try I keep starting this, fiddling with it, not quite happy with the angles and stuff. Whoa, let's see if we can show the scenery surrounding a little bit better here. Oh, it's so steep. Even with my wide angle, I can't capture that whole scene. I guess I could do, I wasn't planning on that, but I could do that angle. It looks kind of cool. Yeah, can't even stand on this slope. Alright, I might have to do that. That looks pretty epic. Can't really get all the clouds and everything all at once, but we'll do our best and figure it out later. That should look a little bit more interesting, I think. Of course, now I definitely have to try to sit the other direction, otherwise it'll look stupid. It'd be kind of funny just to bug people, like sitting facing away from the center of the it's so like weird looking. Isn't it amazing how something like that can be so strange? Like, I think it would actually cause people nightmares and like stress them out like severely if I did that. But I'm not gonna do it. I have to turn the chair this way. It's like unthinkable to be facing that direction. I can't even imagine how bad that would look. That would cause me great stress to watch that video later, seeing it was like, turn around, you moron. Okay, it's really hard to get over this though. Ooh. Still don't think you can fully appreciate this scenario. It's pretty crazy looking if you're sitting up here, how far above the surrounding landscape I am. Can't really tell from that camera angle, I don't think. All right. Unfortunately, the reason I'm fiddling with this so much is I can't seem to get enough signal to change the slides. And of course, as soon as I set this up, I get it working again. But I'm not going to bother to try to use my normal software to do it the good way, because it's just, I was struggling with it. But now that I'm facing this direction, for some reason, it's actually working. Oh well. Murphy's Law. Okay, so we're going to be reading 2 Kings 9 through 11 and Romans 12. Oh crap. Oh, what just happened? Oh no. That was insane. It like snapped and flew out of my hand. I think it actually fell into the tree. Ugh. Oh boy. This is like drama. Absolute drama stream, drama recording. This is ridiculous. Oh. The microphone, I think I dropped it because of the little stupid clip thing. Oh, stressful. I don't know if I can even get that out. It might be permanently stuck. There's this giant crack in this tree or the stump, and I think the microphone might have fell right into that crack, which is so unlikely, right? What are the chances of that? I can't even see. If that's what happened, it could have fallen a bunch of other places too. Oh boy. This sucks. That is so ridiculous. Alright, well, I'll either leave this in just for comedy's sake or fun outtakes, bloopers, or I'll completely remove or just delete this whole recording because this is just stupid. Can't believe that happened. Hopefully I can at least see it. Come on, flashlight. Stupid. I mean, it would be good news if it didn't fall in the crack and it fell down somewhere down the slope instead, because that would be quite a little bit easier to retrieve theoretically. Maybe it's just right down here on the ground somewhere. I don't see it in the crack. It might even... Oh, we are in luck. Oh, it fell like down on top of my other microphone. Oh man, that's really fortunate. I just didn't look. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. It has like a dimmer on it. That's cool. Huh. Learn something new every day. Yeah, I guess I'll leave this pointless drama just to make it get somebody entertained at my expense. Oh, that was stressful. I mean, it's not the end of the world, like if I lose my microphone or whatever, like, it's just a microphone. And technically I have two of them because when you buy the wireless kit, it comes with an extra one. It's still stressful though. I don't like to lose things because I don't have money to just buy a bunch of extra stuff. Boy, oh boy, this is insane. Oh. I could have like a reel of like 2 hours of outtakes just for this one recording. Oh. Whew, boy. Let's try not to do any more of that crazy stuff. Second Kings chapter 9. Now Elisha the prophet... Man, I can't. I'm just all messed up today. Second Kings chapter 9. Now Elisha the prophet summoned one of the sons of the prophets and said to him, Tuck your cloak under your belt, take this flask of oil, and go to Ramoth Gilead. When you arrive, look for Jehu son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi. Go in, get away from his companions. Go in, get him away from his companions, and take him to an inner room. Then take the flask of oil, pour it on his head, and declare, This is what the Lord says, I anoint you king over Israel. Then open the door and run. Do not delay. So the young prophet went to Ramoth Gilead. And when he arrived, the army commanders were sitting there. I have a message for you, commander, he said. For which of us? Asked Jehu. For you, commander, he replied. So Jehu got up and went into the house, where the young prophet poured the oil on his head and declared, This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I anoint you king over the Lord's people Israel. And you are to strike down the house of your master Ahab, so that I may avenge the blood of my servants the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of the Lord shed by the hand of Jezebel. The whole house of Ahab will perish, and I will cut off from Ahab every male, both slave and free, in Israel. I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam son of Nebat, and Baasha son of Ahijah. And on the plot of ground at Jezreel the dogs will devour Jezebel, and there will be no one to bury her. Then the young prophet opened the door and ran. When Jehu went out to the servants of his master, they asked, Is everything all right? Why did this madman come to you? You know his kind and their babble, he replied. That is a lie, they said. Tell us now. So Jehu answered, He talked to me about this and that, and he said, This is what the Lord says, I anoint you king over Israel. Quickly each man took his garment and put it under Jehu on the bare steps. Then they blew the ram's horn and proclaimed, Jehu is king. Thus Jehu son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Now Joram and all Israel had been defending Ramoth Gilead against Hazael, king of Aram. But King Joram had returned to Jezreel to recover from the wounds he had suffered at the hands of the Arameans, in the battle against Hazael their king. So Jehu said, If you commanders wish to make me king, then do not let anyone escape from the city to go and tell it in Jezreel. Then Jehu got into his chariot and went to Jezreel, because Joram was laid up there, and Ahaziah king of Judah had gone down to see him. Now the watchman standing on the tower of Jezreel saw Jehu's troops approaching, and he called out, I see a company of troops. Choose a rider, Joram commanded. Send him out to meet them and ask, Have you come in peace? So a horseman rode off to meet Jehu and said, This is what the king asks. Have you come in peace? What do you know about peace? Jehu replied. Fall in behind me. And the watchman reported, The messenger reached them, but he is not coming back. So the king sent out a second horseman, who went to them and said, This is what the king asks. Have you come in peace? What do you know about peace? Jehu replied. Fall in behind me. Again the watchman reported, He reached them, but he is not coming back. And the charioteer is driving like Jehu son of Nimshi. He is driving like a madman. Harness, Joram shouted, and they harnessed his chariot. Then Joram king of Israel and Ahaziah king of Judah set out, each in his own chariot, and met Jehu on the property of Naboth the Jezreelite. When Joram saw Jehu, he asked, Have you come in peace, Jehu? How can there be peace, he replied, as long as the idolatry and witchcraft of your mother Jezebel abound? Joram turned around and fled, calling out to Ahaziah, Treachery, Ahaziah! Then Jehu drew his bow and shot Joram between the shoulders. The arrow pierced his heart, and he slumped down in his chariot. And Jehu said to Bidkar his officer, Pick him up and throw him into the field of Naboth the Jezreelite. For remember that when you and I were riding together behind his father Ahab, the Lord lifted up this burden against him. As surely as I saw the blood of Naboth and the blood of his sons yesterday, declares the Lord, so will I repay you on this plot of ground, declares the Lord. Now then, according to the word of the Lord, pick him up and throw him on the plot of ground. When King Ahaziah of Judah saw this, he fled up the road toward Beth-Hagan. And Jehu pursued him, shouting, Shoot him too! So they shot Ahaziah in his chariot on the ascent of Gur. Near Ibleam, and he fled to Megiddo and died there. Then his servants carried him by chariot to Jerusalem and buried him with his fathers in his tomb in the city of David. In the 11th year of Joram son of Ahab, Ahaziah had become king over Judah. Now when Jehu arrived in Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it. So she painted her eyes, adorned her head, and looked down from a window. And as Jehu entered the gate, she asked, Have you come in peace, O Zimri, murderer of your master? He looked up at the window and called out, Who is on my side? Who? And 2 or 3 eunuchs looked down at him. Throw her out, yelled Jehu. So they threw her out, and her blood splattered on the wall and on the horses as they trampled her underfoot. Then Jehu went in and ate and drank. Take care of this cursed woman, he said, and bury her, for she was the daughter of a king. But when they went out to bury her, they found nothing but her skull, her feet, and the palms of her hands. So they went back and told Jehu, who replied, This is the word of the Lord, which he spoke through his servant Elijah the Tishbite. On the plot of ground at Jezreel, the dogs will devour the flesh of Jezebel. And Jezebel's body will lie like dung in the field on the plot of ground at Jezreel, so that no one can say, This is Jezebel. Might actually get a nice sunset today. I wasn't really thinking I'd get to see in the direction of the sunset, but might be able to see it from here. Second Kings chapter 10. Now Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria. So Jehu wrote letters and sent them to Samaria to the officials of Jezreel, to the elders, and to the guardians of the sons of Ahab, saying, When this letter arrives, since your master's sons are with you, and you have chariots and horses, a fortified city and weaponry, select the best and most worthy son of your master, set him on his father's throne, and fight for your master's house. But they were terrified and reasoned, If 2 kings could not stand against him, how can we? So the palace administrator, the overseer of the city, the elders, and the guardians sent a message to Jehu. We are your servants, and we will do whatever you say. We will not make anyone king. Do whatever is good in your sight. Then Jehu wrote them What? That was weird. Just had a massive error on this thing. I just have to use the old app. My regular Bible app. It's annoying. Yeah, the internet's just not existent here. There's no cell signal. Restart chapter 10. This is annoying. What a recording, what a stream, whatever. This is ridiculous. Let's see. 2 Kings 9 through 11 and Romans 12. Okay. Okay, I'm going to restart chapter 10. Second Kings chapter 10. Now Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria. So Jehu wrote letters and sent them to Samaria to the officials of Jezreel, to the elders and to the guardians of the sons of Ahab, saying, When this letter arrives, since your master's sons are with you, and you have chariots and horses, a fortified city and weaponry, select the best and most worthy son of your master, set him on his father's throne, and fight for your master's house. But they were terrified and reasoned, If 2 kings could not stand against him, how can we? So the palace administrator, the overseer of the city, the elders, and the guardians sent a message to Jehu. We are your servants, and we will do whatever you say. We will not make anyone king. Do whatever is good in your sight. Then Jehu wrote them a second letter and said, If you are on my side, and if you will obey me, then bring the heads of your master's sons to me at Jezreel by this time tomorrow. Now the sons of the king, 70 in all, were being brought up by the leading men of the city. And when the letter arrived, they took the sons of the king and slaughtered all 70 of them. They put their heads in baskets and sent them to Jehu at Jezreel. When the messenger arrived, he told Jehu, They have brought the heads of the sons of the king. And Jehu ordered, Pile them in 2 heaps at the entrance of the gate until morning. The next morning Jehu went out and stood before all the people and said, You are innocent. It was I who conspired against my master and killed him. But who killed all these? Know then that not a word of the Lord Know then that not a word the Lord has spoken against the house of Ahab. Know then that not, I can't say this verse. Know then that not a word the Lord has spoken against the house of Ahab will fail, for the Lord has done what he promised through his servant Elijah. So Jehu killed everyone in Jezreel who remained of the house of Ahab, as well as all his great men and close friends and priests, leaving him without a single survivor. Then Jehu set out towards Samaria. At Beth-eked of the shepherds, Jehu met some relatives of Ahaziah king of Judah and asked, "Who are you?" "We are relatives of Ahaziah," they answered, "and we have come down to greet the sons of the king and of the queen mother." Then Jehu ordered, "Take them alive." So his men took them alive, then slaughtered them at the well of Beth-eked, 42 men. He spared none of them. When he left there, he found Jehonadab, son of Rechab, who was coming to meet him. Jehu greeted him and asked, "Is your heart as true to mine as my heart is to yours?" "It is," Jehonadab replied. "If it is," said Jehu, "give me your hand." So he gave him his hand, and Jehu helped him into his chariot, saying, "Come with me and see my zeal for the Lord." So he had him ride in his chariot. When Jehu came to Samaria, he struck down everyone belonging to Ahab who remained there, until he had destroyed them, according to the word that the Lord had spoken to Elijah. Then Jehu brought all the people together and said, "Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu will serve him a lot. Now therefore summon to me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants, and all his priests. See that no one is missing, for I have a great sacrifice for Baal. Whoever is missing will not live." But Jehu was acting deceptively in order to destroy the servants of Baal. And Jehu commanded, "Proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal." So they announced it. Then Jehu sent word throughout Israel, and all the servants of Baal came. There was not a man who failed to show. They entered the temple of Baal, and it was filled from end to end. And Jehu said to the keeper of the wardrobe, "Bring out garments for all the servants of Baal." So he brought out garments for them. Next Jehu and Jehonadab son of Rechab entered the temple of Baal, and Jehu said to the servants of Baal, "Look around to see that there are no servants of the Lord here among you, only servants of Baal." And they went in to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings. Now Jehu had stationed 80 men outside and warned them, If anyone allows one of the men I am delivering into your hands to escape, he will forfeit his life for theirs." When he had finished making the burnt offering, Jehu said to the guards and officers, "Go in and kill them. Do not let anyone out." So the guards and officers put them to the sword, threw the bodies out, and went into the inner room of the temple of Baal. They brought out the sacred pillar of the temple of Baal and burned it. They also demolished the sacred pillar of Baal. Then they tore down the temple of Baal and made it into a latrine, which it is to this day. Thus Jehu eradicated Baal from Israel, but he did not turn away from the sins that Jeroboam son of Nebat had caused Israel to But he did not turn away from the sins that Jeroboam son of Nebat has caused Israel to commit, the worship of the golden calves at Bethel and Dan. Nevertheless the Lord said to Jehu, "Because you have done well in carrying out what is right in my sight, and have done to the house of Ahab all that was in my heart, 4 generations of your sons will sit on the throne of Israel." Yet Jehu was not careful to follow the instruction of the Lord, the God of Israel, with all his heart. He did not turn away from the sins that Jeroboam had caused Israel to commit. In those days the Lord began to reduce the size of Israel. Hazael defeated the Israelites throughout their territory, from the Jordan eastward through all the land of Gilead, the region of Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh, and from Aurora by the Arnon Valley, through Gilead to Bashan. As for the rest of the acts of Jehu, along with all his accomplishments and all his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? And Jehu rested with his fathers and was buried in Samaria, and his son and his son Jehoahaz reigned in his place. So the duration of Jehu's reign over Israel and Samaria was 28 years. Yeah, at the rate I'm going here, the sunset will probably happen while I'm reading here, practically. This was kind of a dumpster fire trying to get this stream going for some strange reason. Second Kings chapter 11. When Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she proceeded to annihilate all the royal heirs. But Jehosheba, daughter of King Joram, the sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, son of Ahaziah, and stole him away from among the sons of the king who were being murdered. She put him and his nurse in a bedroom to hide him from Athaliah, and he was not killed. And Joash remained hidden with his nurse in the house of the Lord for 6 years while Athaliah ruled the land. Then in the 7th year, Jehoiada sent for the commanders of hundreds, the Kerites, and the guards, and had them brought into the house of the Lord. There he made a covenant with them and put them under oath. He showed them the king's son and commanded them, "This is what you are to do. A third of you who come on duty on the Sabbath shall guard the royal palace. A third shall be at the gate of Sur, and a third at the gate behind the guards. You are to take turns guarding the temple. The 2 divisions that would go off duty on the Sabbath are to guard the house of the Lord for the king. You must surround the king with weapons in hand, and anyone who approaches the ranks must be put to death. You must stay close to the king wherever he goes." So the commanders of hundreds did everything that Jehoiada the priest had ordered. Each of them took his men, those coming on duty on the Sabbath and those going off duty, and came to Jehoiada the priest. Then the priest gave to the commanders of hundreds the spears and shields of King David from the house of the Lord. And the guards stood with weapons in hand, surrounding the king by the altar and the temple, from the south side to the north side of the temple. Then Jehoiada brought out the king's son, put the crown on him, presented him with the testimony, and proclaimed him king. They anointed him, and the people clapped their hands and declared, "Long live the king!" When Athaliah heard the noise from the guards and the people, she went out to the people in the house of the Lord. And she looked out and saw the king standing by the pillar, according to the custom. The officers and trumpeters were beside the king, and all the people of the land were rejoicing and blowing trumpets. Then Athaliah tore her clothes and screamed, "Treason! Treason!" And Jehoiada the priest ordered the commanders of hundreds in charge of the army, "Bring her out between the ranks, and put to the sword anyone who follows her." For the priest had said, "She must not be put to death in the house of the Lord." So they seized Athaliah as she reached the horses' entrance to the palace grounds, and there she was put to death. Then Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people, that they would be the Lord's people. He also made a covenant between the king and the people. So all the people of the land went to the temple of Baal and tore it down. They smashed the altars and idols to pieces, and they killed Mattan the priest of Baal in front of the altars. And Jehoiada the priest posted guards for the house of the Lord. He took with him the commanders of hundreds, the Kerites, the guards, and all the people of the land, and they brought the king down from the house of the Lord and entered the royal palace by way of the gate of the guards. Then Joash took his seat on the royal throne, and all the people of the land rejoiced. And the city was quiet, because Athaliah had been put to the sword at the royal palace. Joash was 7 years old when he became king. All right, just one more chapter. Romans chapter 12. Therefore I urge you, brothers, on account of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. For by the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but think of yourself with sober judgment, according to the measure of faith God has given you. Just as each of us has one body with many members, and not all members have the same function, so in Christ we who are many are one body, and each member belongs to one another. We have different gifts according to the grace given us. If one's gift is prophecy, let him use it in proportion to his faith. If it is serving, let him serve. If it is teaching, let him teach. If it is encouraging, let him encourage. If it is giving, let him give generously. If it is leading, let him lead with diligence. If it is showing mercy, let him do it cheerfully. Love must be sincere. Detest what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Outdo yourselves in honoring one another. Do not let your zeal subside. Keep your spiritual fervor, serving the Lord. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, persistent in prayer. Share with the saints who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, but rejoice. Do not be proud, but enjoy the company of the lowly. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Carefully consider what is right in the eyes of everybody. If it is possible on your part, live at peace with everyone. Do not avenge yourselves, beloved, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him a drink. For in so doing, you will heap burning coals on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. All right. Oh, man. This was a crazy, nutty recording, but somehow made it through. I'm going to try to end this one quick because I think my phone is going to run out of memory by the time I do all this stuff. I might try to do one more if I feel like I can make it work, technology-wise. Go down there in the grass or something, and maybe I can sort of catch the sunset. That would be nice. But I might run out of space on my phone, but I might be able to use this other phone, so I'll try to do one more if I can make it work. That'll be it for today. Thanks for joining me, though. I will catch you later.